Hey everyone, Scott J. from Crucible Custom Props, Nerfworks Lab, and all the forums. This is a different kind of build for once. This is actually a custom blaster that I did for myself, prompted by the contest that Bobadet is putting on the RPF. His contest is just kind of a fun contest. I don't know what the winners, I can't remember what the winners will get, or the winner will get, but I wanted to take a crack at it, just to kind of do something fun that was a little bit different from the normal. And yeah, so the stipulation was that he had extra Return of the Jedi flash hiders, and that was pretty much it. It needed to be a Denix bit or a Mauser base, and use the Return of the Jedi flash hider. So my idea was I wanted to do it. I didn't want to copy exactly anything that was already done, but I wanted it to be in the same vein as the original trilogy DL-44 blasters. I kind of wanted to think of something that was in universe, using as many recognizable parts from either blasters or parts of Star Wars or whatever, and also just kind of do it my own kind of feel to it. But let me go ahead and explain what some of the parts are, and why, where they tie in to the original trilogy, and all that stuff. Start off, of course, we have this is a Denix Mauser. It's a Denix Mauser, and I didn't put any electronics in. I just wanted to make a static prop so I could pick it up and just fart around with it and have fun with it. But obviously we have the Return of the Jedi Han flash hider from Bobadet. Then we have a Tomtits engine cylinder here. The Tomtit cylinder got used all over the place. It's in the cockpit of Luke's X-Wing. It's in the land speeder. It's on blasters. It's all over the place. The most notable things you can spot it on are on the New Hope Hero Han's blaster. It takes 3 of them to make the front grille. Let me illustrate that here. So 3 of those to make that grille right here. It's also the very front nose cone of Greedo's blaster. So Greedo's pistol that he threatens Han with is the very front of that is made from that same Tomtit cylinder. Another part from that same balsa wood model airplane kit is what people refer to as the catamaran piece. This is also from that same model kit, and so are the pushrod greeblies on the Han. So on this side, we have the same thing. It's mirrored on this side. And then the next part we have, by the way, let me back up just a little bit. The scope is inspired by a German ZF-41 scope, but I didn't really want to spend the money to buy one or even a replica, because they're very expensive, but they look cool. So I just scratch built one that approximates the general look and feel, using just scrap aluminum that I had sitting around. But I do have one embellishment on it, which is a Graflex Ink Pen. This is a vintage ink pen from a Graflex. So you get the tie-in with the Graflex, which is Luke Skywalker's lightsabers. I did go ahead and make this with glass lenses on both sides of the scope. It doesn't see through. You can't see through it, but it does have glass lenses, so it has a nice effect to it when you're playing with it. What else? Okay, so these are. Let me go back and talk a little bit about the parts. So the Tomtit cylinder is meant as a heat sink, meant to be as a heat sink for the blast. It draws. It'll help keep the weapon cool and keep it cycling fast. That's the idea behind that. Next, we have these are the actual claws from a Jawa ion blaster. So the Jawa ion blaster is made from an SMLE rifle that's cut down with an SMLE grenade cup. So this is what the grenade cup looks like, and it fits onto the front of an SMLE, and these clamp onto the front, and you tighten it down, and that's how the grenade launcher cup sits. And so, having built a couple recently with the real parts, I had these claws left over, and and I wanted to use those. And my idea, the theory behind these are that they are balancers, as far they're recoil balancers, and this is just made up baloney. But in my mind, these lend balance to the recoil. So when it fires, these somehow attenuate the balance and gives you a more balanced blaster. Next, we have some V8 Revell or Renoir V8 visible V8 engine kit parts. They're just basically greeblies stuck on here, right here, these little antenna things. But the V8 kit was used in everything Star Wars. I mean, they have V8 kit parts on C-3PO. They have V8 kit parts on blasters. They have V8 kit parts all on everything. It's just ridiculous. This is another V8 kit part, and so is this. This actually comes from Bib Fortuna's not seen on screen blaster, but there is a blaster in Lucasfilm archives that is supposed to belong to Bib Fortuna, and that piece is on that blaster as well. This is just an accompanying piece that I put on there. These are actually some plumbing parts, and the purpose behind this whole section here is energy. So what happens is when you fire, this is just of course made up again. When you fire it, you know, you have gases usually that blow out like a normal gun, right? So my idea is that when you fire it, you would also see an expel of energy through here, kind of like Kylo Ren has the quillions on the side. Extra energy comes out the quillions. Well, every time you fire a blaster bolt, you get a little bit of a bleed off here, and that would also, instead of having the recoil rise, that the action of it blowing forward would help it go straight back, and you would be able to keep the muzzle on target and get better follow-up shots. So that's the purpose behind these things. They got little hoses that feed into here from the stuff that's coming out from the energy cell and everything. So that's the ideas behind that. Then we have this piece. This piece is actually used on, I'm sure it's used someplace else in Star Wars, but the thing I know it's from is from the Hoth troopers. They have a communicator on the side of their winter helmets or winter hats. The communicator has this Revell or Renoir visible V8 kit part. And there's also a little noodle, a kind of macaroni piece right there to close it off. And so that's where that part comes from. Then we have, also that this catamaran and tom tit cylinder are also on the Mersan Power 5. So it's used on multiple blasters. Finally, we have, what's the last part I'm missing? Oh, the Greedo Killer. This is the Greedo Killer scope mount. This is the football style, so it's from the post-production Greedo Killer scope mount. And I had that extra and wanted to use that, and I just made a little mount that sits on here from scrap steel. So it's a pretty fun, it was fun to make this blaster and have it tie in visually with all the different props and blasters from the Star Wars universe. I really had a good time making it. I like the profile. It's kind of a little bit offset on the scope, kind of like a ESB or Return of the Jedi, but also has a slim-ish profile where the thickness parts comes from these harmonic balancers or SMLE grenade cup clamps. So that's it. That's my custom blaster for the contest. I thought it looked kind of cool. I just wanted to share it with you guys. Figured you guys might appreciate it. It's fun to not replicate something entirely for once and just make something of your own design. These wood grips just happen to come on this Denix, and they're just really gorgeous. So I left them this really blonde, or whatever color wood you want to call it, really orangey. Looks pretty, so I wanted to leave it alone. But anyway, that's my blaster, guys. I hope you like it. Feel free to comment. Can't wait to see everybody's contest blasters, and it should be pretty cool. All right, thanks, guys.